So as the commentator of these AI-only battles, I have to say I'm very nervous for this series because it's going to be so chaotic. I know for a fact I will not be able to keep up. Oh man, I have to say, this one makes me really, really nervous. So this will be a huge game on a European continent map, obviously with North Africa and the Middle East. Everyone is on teams of 2. This will be an excellent time to kind of check out the way the teams of 2 works versus what we just previously did on teams of 3, which I will leave a link in the description below if you want to watch that series. So everybody was randomly picked, but for the most part, I tried my best to make sure that a vanilla civ had a modded civ. I just wanted to make it kind of as even as possible. Now, this did 2 things for us. For one, we're going to see an experiment with all different types because everyone was suggesting all these different things in the comment section below. They were suggesting, you know, have everyone play in the same region so that you include Spain and Portugal on the same team. And then others were saying, you know, make sure the teams are as far away as possible so the wars are world wars. And by the way, I'm extremely excited to see the Moors and see how well they do on Iberia because finally we have a kind of a 3-way race inside of Iberia. So I'm extremely excited for that. So yeah, like the way I did it is I randomized pretty much both between they're kind of random. I just made sure vanilla and modded civs were together. This did 2 things. We do have those teams that are kind of on the opposite ends of the Earth. I'm sorry, on the worlds, the Earth. I don't know. I can't even talk right now. So there will be a few of them, but then there are teams that are right there next to each other. So for instance, let's talk about some of the teams that are right there next to each other. And by the way, I will leave a link in the description below to all the teams because it is going to be really, really complicated. I realize because there are what, like 12 teams? No, there's way more. There's 21 teams, I believe, 21 teams. So I'll leave a link so you can check out all the teams and their country names because I also know it's hard to kind of differentiate between the leaders and these modded leaders because I don't even know the modded leaders' names. So Rome and the Papal States, they're on the same team. Yes, Rome and the Papal States are on the same team. We have kind of a moderate distance away from each other from, like, we have Great Britain. This is Great Britain, by the way. This is not England because I will always use different. I feel like the vanilla England mod, or the vanilla England civ in base game Civ 5 is terrible. So just so you know, this looks exactly like England, but this is actually the Great British mod. So yeah, so we have the British working with the Spanish. So they're like moderately, you know, a ways away from each other. And then we have closer, we have other, I think that's kind of, for the most part, that seems to be around what we're seeing, the distance away. So I have like Greece and the Goths, not too far away, where they'll be able to kind of work together in wars. But at the same time, there are also, you know, civs, like I said, on the Italian Peninsula, where the Papal State and Rome are working together. We've got Novgorod and Russia working together. So this worries me. Initially, when I randomized everything and I realized, oh wait, Novgorod and Russia are right there next to each other. But doing a few tests, it's not as powerful as you would think. I mean, they're going to be good, but because I have kind of modified the terrain, this is not like if you watch the previous European Civ 5 that we did, I didn't mess with the terrain at all. I don't think I did. I definitely discluded mountains because Armenia was really, really safe here with the mountains. Too safe, I think, behind these mountains here. But I also took away some of the luxuries, so this land isn't really amazing. I wouldn't say it's necessarily amazing. Obviously, most of the consolidated luxuries are in Central Europe, Western Europe, you know, the British Isles. So Russia and Novgorod they're not going to do as well as, you know, you would think. So that's one thing, because I was really worried. I was like, oh man, I'm going to have to restart this. But I'm not saying that they're not going to win, but I'm also not saying that they're going to get destroyed. I don't think that, you know, I think that it's still going to be very close because they don't have a lot of power out in that land, and I made sure that was a thing. So yeah, like I said, there's really no way for me to go over all 21 teams, so the description below would be the best way to choose, and I will make my pick, and you can make your pick down in the comment section below, and I will give you a shout out, or put your name in the description of the last video of this series, is what I'm doing it now like. So just leave the 2 countries' names. That's the best way. Don't put the leaders down because I don't search the leaders. I just put, you know, so if it's Greece, just pick Greece. Don't pick Alexander, things like that. So when it comes to my pick, I've been looking around, and again, it is tough to tell because there are just so many teams, and there's so many different sorts of possibilities. I'm really, really liking Frederick and Kashmir working together. Frederick of Prussia and Poland together. I think that's a very, very powerful team, even though they're at the bottom of the score list for now. I think that if they have their way with Lithuania, if Poland protects itself against someone like Hungary, and even Bohemia, then they could have a lot of success. It really depends, though. Prussia is going to need to worry about the Scandinavian countries, though. Prussia does start off with a coastal capital city, so whoever consolidates in Scandinavia might want to attack through the Baltic Sea, which would be, I think, a pretty big deal. Now, in the previous European battle, we had Scotland, which is a different Scottish mod, just so you know, so things might be different, do really, really well. Scotland did very well. Scotland right now is allied to Denmark. That's another team that I really, really like. I think that if Scotland gets off the, if Scotland hits the ground running, goes quickly after, I don't know who is Queen Victoria, I believe, is the leader of this mod. Goes after Queen Victoria if she is able to eliminate the Civ to the south. If James isn't able to eliminate the Civ to the south, then yeah, they might have their way. But Denmark obviously is going to be in a little bit more tough of a situation because Denmark will not be able to head north. This will be mostly lands kind of protected by Sweden and Norway. Denmark is going to be forced to move south, which this is going to be a huge mess right here in Central Europe. But still, Copenhagen could, if they want to, Copenhagen could maybe stay one or two cities into their empire, and then they could let, Scotland do a lot of the work. This is domination only, and I will go over all the mods that I'm using and some of the, what are those things called? Mods and details of the game. So using a bunch of mods, of course, aggressive expansive AI. Not using the smart AI mod because it doesn't work with the DLL yet. Not another Earth map pack thingy. Infoatics, of course, and then pretty much all of the modded civs. So a bunch more modded civs than ever before I think ever in an EU4 AI only battle. No, I'm sorry, not EU4. Oh my gosh, my mind is now really it's just all blurging together. Too much crack. So yeah, I'm using more mods than ever before in a Civ 5 AI only, so I'm excited for that. We'll see how stable the game becomes. But yeah, in terms of like kind of different sort of gameplay, different gameplay mods, it's really just aggressive expansive mod is the only thing that's going to be included, as well as because it's domination only, they'll be even more aggressive. Songhai and the African nations might have a little bit of luck. That will be exciting to watch. I still think that, by the way, my pick will be, I think I'm going to go with Poland, Prussia, to be honest. I like that team. Really depends. So they'll be the PP team. Ha 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 ha. Elementary school jokes. If you might have noticed, I did start us off at turn 10. That's because these turn processes are going to be a lot longer. So I figured, why not skip the first 10 turns because nothing else happens anyways. There has been a few Pantheons so far chosen. I'm still trying to figure out who some AIs are allied to. So we have the Hittites in France as a perfect example of someone that is extremely far away from each other that are working together. Where did they go? There they are. Boom. Yeah, so the Hittites all the way just north of the Ottomans, and we have France way over here. So this will be fun. Again, I'm not saying that we're going to be choosing kind of random teams every single time. This is just the perfect way to kind of set off a TSL team-based AI only like this because we have random, and we're going to see all different types. The teams that are close by, the teams that are somewhat close by, and the teams that are extremely far away from each other, like we're seeing with Napoleon and the Hittites. So that will be fun. I think that, to be honest, for me, I think the Middle East will be one of the most entertaining regions because if you watch the previous European battle that we did, which I guess I'll leave a description to that one below too, it was already pretty fun, but now there's even more mods included in this location. So we have the Umayyads, we have the, I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, I believe I am though. Spain, number 1, most busiest person in the world. Then it's kind of a tie for second place between Scotland, the Goths. That is a new one, not sure who this is. I'll check. Oh, I think that's Novgorod and Lithuania. So still, Spain is off to a pretty good start with all these hammers. But yeah, no, I'm very excited to see how the Middle East plays out because it does seem like it's going to be fun. And without mountains, there will be even more aggression than ever before. Again, mountains are just something that we have to get rid of so that we actually have, somewhat smart AI. There's just too many kind of cringeworthy moments when the AI has to navigate mountains, so that's just my reasoning for that. So anyways, first war is broken out between Prussia and Poland, remember that. So we learned from the previous team-based battle that this doesn't necessarily mean the two civs that actually declared war on each other. These are just the civs that are declared the leader. These are the civs that are, I guess, first in their team, however I organized it. So I don't even know who is Sweden allied to, but we will find out soon. Anyways, but Poland and Prussia are in their first war. I'd imagine that Sweden must be allied to somebody. I'll keep going. There's Sweden and Lithuania. So there you go. So this is exactly what the point of my intro was, because I do tests, and oh my gosh, PP and what is going on with me in this video? Anyways, I do these tests, and I make sure that I know that the campaign is going to be entertaining. And because it is only turn 27, we have Poland and Prussia involved in another war. This time the Huns are involved. The wars are going to be insane until turn 100. And it is only turn like 26. So I think I'm going to do something a little bit different for this AI only in terms of my commentary. I probably won't focus too much on the initial wars, because let's be honest, the AI only has a handful of warriors, and an AI, a human player, can barely take over another city with a handful of warriors. So I will kind of try to take note of it, but it will get to the point where it's going to be so crazy, because there are 42 nations in this world, all allied to each other, and we'd have to kind of do the math in our head of, what civs are teamed with other civs. We'll probably just kind of make a notification, put it in the back of our head, like, oh, there are some civs at war, but we won't focus too heavily on it. Obviously, we will see if something is about to go down, if a city is about to fall, or if something kind of big is going to happen. Sweden, with their first settler out, we'll see where they want to go in terms of Scandinavia. Lots of pantheons being discovered. We will look into the pantheons in the second video. Here's Scotland with the settler as well. That's something that I'm more concerned about in the very beginning, is more where are these civs settling? Not so much in the wars, because there's not really going to be many civs taken over before turn 100. I am excited to have the Vandals, I believe, involved now, because that will be another threat that North Africa will pose to kind of southern Europe as well, because it won't just be Carthage. Carthage alone is a little bit too powerful here, usually. But having the Vandals will kind of keep them, I think, they'll keep them at bay. And there might even be, I can almost guarantee you, there will be some conflicts going on between these two Northern African nations. But they both are somewhat divided by some rough terrain, so they might be kind of somewhat safe. So something that France needs to do, France needs to get off the ground running too, because they are, I think, even more limited than ever before. France really needs to move to the south and to the west as quickly as possible. Iberia will probably be fighting to, usually Spain likes to go up and settle French lands, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. The Moors as well. So the Moors do start off with the Rock of Gibraltar, so they might be in a little bit of a lucky situation here. They've got to hold on to it, though, and I don't know. Remember, Spain and England are allied. We have the Netherlands and Armenia is another kind of example of a faraway civ. So we have the Dutch here, all the way allied to Armenia. We have Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon, allied to, oh my gosh, is that Norway? Yes, it is. So there's another example of a faraway civ. There's all of these examples. I'm just kind of stating them for everybody. But yeah, we're gonna look into some of the. It's so hard to catch up because everyone is kind of like randomly, sporadically moving throughout the single player score list, so it's a little bit of a mess. Austria and Hungary is oh man, I should have made a comment about that. Austria and Hungary working together. So that would probably be the biggest threat to the Polish-Prussian alliance. That is going to be tough for them to kind of, I don't know, I would say hold on to. I mean, that's going to be a very big threat that they are going to constantly have to worry about. Portugal and the Umayyad are allied to each other as well. So that's the Portuguese alliance. And again, I'm still checking on the Moors, but you guys will know automatically in the comments. I'm sorry, in the description below, because I don't have that with me. So Arabia is settled. Egypt has also settled. We have Assyria with their second city. These Middle Eastern civs are going to be more consolidated, just as consolidated, I'd say, as Central America. So they need to go fast. They need to get off the ground running. And if not, then they're going to be in a very tough situation. I am so nervous for this. You have no idea because, like I said, first of all, I also want to make a comment that the border gore will be worse than ever before. I think that's safe to say. think it's safe to say that because it's more likely that civs won't die in the beginning, civs will be more faster to die at the end. That will make the border gore much, much uglier. We are back on Emperor difficulty. I think that I think Immortal is just too high. I love Emperor difficulty because for some reason those like top, if there's like top 2 or 3 civs, they'll stagnate sometimes, and it'll let everybody else catch up. So that's why we see kind of more upsets and more like, boom, great power all of a sudden arises when we thought there was only like 1 or 2 great powers. So that's my favorite thing about playing on Emperor difficulty. And of course, for the details, no city raising, no barbarians, no ruins, quick combat and movement, and that is about it. So I think I might end this video a little bit early. We've already made it through about, we've got some friendships going on, but remember, these diplomacy notifications, they really don't mean anything, because just because, the Ottomans and Russia have declared a friendship doesn't mean that, Novgorod still might want to go to war with the Ottomans. So, and remember, Novgorod and Russia are allied. So you never can tell. The diplomacy notifications are even more worthless than ever before. The Sumer. So that was the only pantheon that we have seen so far. And like I said, we will be checking over the pantheons in the next video. Maybe not the next video. I'm not 100% about that, because I don't even know if it's... Ooh, Prussia's moving down fast, just north of Bohemia. Bohemia might also have a pretty good time as well. Yeah, so I don't know. We might actually not check the pantheons, because who cares about the pantheons? It all matters about religion, right? Religion is kind of the most important thing, because that's actually going to give you tons of beliefs and stuff like that. Pantheons are usually very small bonuses. So in Team 8 is actually number 1. By the way, if you could, I don't usually search when I do kind of pick the winners. Don't usually search for like Team 8, Team 3, Team 2. I will just like, whatever that is, Control F on Google, Google Chrome, and actually type in Russia and Novgorod. So that is the best way for me to kind of, see if find you guys if you pick the right nation. Anyways, I'm gonna stop it right there. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please leave a like or a comment in the section below if you like this series, if you're excited for this series. I know I am, but at the same time, oh man, this is gonna be so chaotic, so mind-numbingly crazy that I don't know if I'm gonna survive through this series. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.